Hello students. So in continuation of the previous video, we talked about structure of reproductive organ, that is flower, and we discussed in detail about the anther and stigma, pistil and everything. So in this video we are going to cover structure of microsporangium. So when we talk about microsporangium, all of us know that in case of angiosperm, stamen is the male reproductive part, which is part of endoecium we have discussed. Stamen consists of two parts. This is filament and this one is anther. Right? Each anther is bilobe, so it consists of two lobes. That's why it is called anther is bilobe. And if we cut the cross section, each lobe have two theca. Theca means here. If we cut the cross section, we will find two theca in each of the lobe. So if we cut the cross section, we have two lobes. Each lobe have two chambers. So we use word dithecous. Here theca means chamber. So if we go into detailed structure of microsporangium, we will find there is a presence of a tissue which is extension of filament, that is called connective. There are four microsporangium present. Two microsporangiums are present in each lobe. Anther is bilobe. Each lobe have two microsporangium. In total, there are presence of four microsporangium. Now, if we look into the anatomy or structure of microsporangium, there are four layers are present in surrounding of microsporangium. So each of them represent the microsporangium. There are four microsporangium, and these microsporangium are protected inside the protective layer. So three outer protective layers are present, and inside that one more layer is present, that is called tapetum, and tapetum help in nourishment. So we'll talk about these layers in detail. So if we start from outermost layer, the outermost layer, that is called epidermis. This is a single layer. Number one, first we should learn these layer in sequence. Outermost is called epidermis. Then just below the epidermis there is presence of another layer, that is called endothecium layer. Then there are presence of multiple layers. This is also generally single layer. Okay, except tobacco, nicotiana have the multiple layer, but endothecium is also single layer. There is presence of certain layer of cell. These are called middle layers, and then innermost layer, which is directly present in surrounding of the sporogenous tissue, is known as tapetum. So fourth layer is tapetum. These three layers, epidermis, endothecium, and middle layer together are these are protective layers. These are outer layers. If we look into the magnified view of microsporangium, we can see here there is presence of four layers. So this outermost layer, we can label it as the epidermis. This is epidermis. Then inner it is endothecium. Then there is presence of 2-3 layers. These are layers of cells are called middle layers. Then we have innermost layer, which are larger cells, tapetum. Primarily these layers are protective layer, and this layer help in nourishment of male gametes or pollen. So this is the tissue which help in nourishment of the male gametes or the pollen. Once this get mature, once there is formation of pollen grain completes, Instead of using word microsporangium, generally we use word pollen sac. So we must remember that pollen sac and microsporangium are the same thing. When it is in the developing stage, generally we use word microsporangium, and once there is development of male gametes takes place, complete development of male gametes takes place, then it is called pollen sac because it contains the pollen grains, right? So one by one if we discuss about these layers, the outermost layer is epidermis. This is the outer layer. This layer is formed due to anticlinal division in the primary tissues. Okay, and this keep enlarging and it provide a outermost protective layer in surrounding of the microsporangium. Overall function of this is protection. Second layer is endothecium. This layer is also single layer. As I mentioned, exceptionally in some plants it may be a multi-layer, like in case of tobacco. Nicotiana tabacum may have multi-layer. This layer play very important role in dehiscence. Dehiscence means once pollen grain formation takes place and pollen grain to be released, this pollen sac break, and due to breakage of pollen sac, pollen grains are released. So this layer endothecium play very important role in dehiscence of pollen sac. This is very important. So how they help in dehiscence? They are radially arranged. These are elongated and these cells are radially arranged, and their wall contain certain fibers. These tangential fibers are present in their cell wall, and these tangential fibers are hygroscopic in nature. Hygroscopic means they absorb the water. Once they absorb the water, okay, and they become dry, automatically there is a bursting of the microsporangium, and that help in releasing of what we can say pollen grains. So hygroscopic expansion is responsible for release of pollen grain, and that is the dehiscence. Next layer, middle layer. This is present just below, or this is next to the endothecium. There is presence of 2-3 layers which are consisting of, it may in certain case it may be several. These cells are generally flattened, and during meiotic division, when the sporogenous tissue expand, they get crushed and they disappear in the mature pollen sac. So we have to remember they disappear in the mature pollen sac. The innermost layer, which appear yellow, larger cell, dense cytoplasm, nutrient rich, lot of reserve food, these are called tapetum. So tapetum is the innermost layer in the structure of microsporangium. Tapetum have considerable physiological importance because during development of male gamete or during microsporogenesis it play very important role. It provides nourishment to the developing microspore, or in other words we say development of pollen grain, and here the cells present inside the tapetum we can consider as the microspore mother cells. These are marked as the MMC, microspore mother cell, and the tissue is called sporogenous tissue. This tissue in beginning it is called sporogenous tissue, and this sporogenous tissue in beginning it undergo mitotic division, and there is formation of microspore mother cell which undergo the microsporogenesis and develop the microspores or male gametophyte or pollen grain. That time these tapetum cells play very important role in development because they provide nourishment to developing microspores, right? So next, if we look into tapetum cells, they have some ubique body. There is secretion from ubique body, and these ubique body help in formation of the wall of pollen grain. So when we will talk about the structure of pollen grain, secretion of these things, these protein help in formation of wall of the pollen grain. These are exine and intine. So broadly, tapetum are of two types. When they secrete, as I mentioned, some proteins, these are called secretory or glandular tapetum cells, and when they are irregular shape and where these provide the nutrition. These are called amoeboid tapetum cells. So tapetum is one of the very important role. Overall, we can say that help in nourishment of the developing colon grains. Right. In the next, we will talk about the sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue is present in the center of microsporangium. Sporogenous tissue develop certain cells which undergo the formation of microspore is known as microspore mother cell, and that is the part of microsporogenesis. So we completed with the structure of microsporangium. Let's start with the process of microsporogenesis. So microsporogenesis is basically formation of microspores, okay, by meiotic division. So formation of microspores, right? These microspores further develop into pollen grains. Pollen grain in angiosperm we consider as male gametophyte. Pollen grain or immature male gametophyte. This is very important thing to learn. Male gametophytes. Pollen grain represent the male gametophyte. So development of microspore from pollen mother cell or microspore mother cells by process of meiosis. There is a reductional division from diploid pollen mother cell. There is development of microspore or pollen grain. It is called microsporogenesis, or this is nothing but overall once microspore develop into a mature pollen grain or development of male gametophyte. So all of us know that microsporogenesis takes place in the microsporangium. In the microsporangium, we know there are three protective layers: epidermis, endothecium. There are middle layers, and last inner is the layer which is called tapetum, and this provides nourishment. Inside the tapetum, there is presence of undifferentiated sporogenous tissue. This undifferentiated sporogenous tissue undergo the mitotic division, then this undergo the differentiation, and there is formation of cells. These cells are from sporogenous tissue. Here in the microsporangium, there is presence of sporogenous tissue. These cells in the beginning they are undifferentiated, and some cells undergo the differentiation to make the microspore mother cell. In short we say MHC. These are nothing but the microspore mother cells, or also known as pollen mother cells, PMC. These cells are diploid cells. Microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell undergo the meiosis. This is a reductional division, and that lead to formation of haploid cell, two cell stage, followed by one more meiosis, that is the meiosis second. As meiosis completes, there is formation of four cell stage. This four cell stage is called microspore tetrad. This is called pollen tetrad, or this is microspore tetrad. Microspore tetrad. These cells are arranged in different ways. Most common type of microspore tetrad is arrangement is tetrahedral. So if we look into the tetrahedral arrangement, so these are arranged like this. Three will be visible from front. This is tetra. This is the common arrangement, tetrahedral. Other type of arrangements are also there, like bilateral, or they may be linear, and so on. But most common arrangement is tetrahedral. There are presence of four microspore. These microspores are haploid. These microspore separate, and each of the microspore now known as each of the cell from the pollen tetrad. Now tetrad means there is presence of four daughter cells. These four daughter cells separate, and after separation these are called microspores. These microspores, if we see the magnified view, there is presence of thick layer. There is a presence of single nucleus, and this nucleus is haploid nucleus. This is very important. Now, Once microspore develops, this microspore undergo each microspore undergo the further development, and that lead to development of mature pollen grain. So this is, in other words, we can say development of mature pollen grain from microspore. So microspore develop into mature pollen grain or male gametophyte. So from one microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell, there is formation of 4 microspores. So sometime in exams also they ask, like if there are 100 pollen mother cells are present, how many microspore or pollen grain are produced? So it will be 4 times, means that will be 400. So this we have to remember. So one pollen mother cell lead to development of 4 microspore. Now this microspore grow and there is development of this cell undergo the differentiation. So here most important term we have to remember, differentiation. And along with differentiation, we have to remember there is formation of vacuole and the nucleus. Nucleus undergo division. This division will be mitotic division, and this division is unequal division. This unequal division lead to formation of 2 daughter cells within microspores. So these 2 daughter cells we can mark as the larger daughter cells. These cells are unequal in size. Unequal size due to asymmetric division, unequal cytoplasmic division. Larger cell is called vegetative cell. This is called vegetative cell, right? The smaller cell form is called generative cell. This is called generative cell. This is called generative cell. Vegetative cell, sometimes also known as the tube cell. So please remember, nucleus and cytoplasm. Cytoplasm divide unequally, unequal cytogenesis, formation of 2 unequal size cells. The smaller is called generative cell, the larger is called vegetative cell, or that is called tube cell. And this stage of pollen grain is known as, this is called 2-celled pollen grain. 2-cell stage. This is 2-celled haploid pollen grain. In most of the angiosperm, pollen grain released after dehiscence in 2-cell stage. Around 60% of the plants release this pollen grain in the 2-cell stage. Later on, this generative cell further divide, and there is formation of 2 male gametes, primary male nucleus and secondary male nucleus. So let's see how these vegetative cells help in the regulation of the growth of pollen tube. And as the name, generative cell will further divide after pollination. When it come in contact with the stigma, or in some it divides before dehiscence, before releasing. So let's look into the 3-cell stage or structure of mature pollen grain. So when we look into the structure of mature pollen grain, we will find that there will be development of thick layer in surrounding of 2-celled pollen grain. It undergoes a further differentiation. It gets ornamented, and there is development of 2 layers. So there is a, if we look into the detailed structure of mature pollen grain, here we can find. So outer layer is ornamented, and this layer is quite thick, and this layer is known as, this is called exine. This exine layer is made up of sporopollenin. This is one of the most resistant protein. It is resistant to high temperature, etc. Inner layer is known as intine. This is made up of peptocellulose. This is thin, this is very thick, this is of different shape, it may be like spines. This provides unique identity to the pollen grains. This has some economic importance also. We obtain pollen tax and all. This is used as a supplement food. Now, there is a no continuous deposition of sporopollenin. Somewhere there is a no sporopollenin for them, and where the sporopollenin deposition is not there. So please remember, sporopollenin deposition is not continuous, and where there is no sporopollenin deposition, that is called germ pore. From where the pollen tube come out, that is known as a germ pore, where there is no sporopollenin deposition or where exine is absent. Now come inside. If you observe here, there is a presence of large cell, and this large cell is nothing but, you already mentioned, this is vegetative cell. Now here this cell again divide in, there is formation of two nucleus. Earlier this, we can say this is the generative cell, but when this divide, there is a formation of two nucleus, and these two nucleus are called male nucleus or male gametes. Okay, so primary and secondary. So this stage is called 3-cell stage, but generally whenever we write or whenever we draw the diagram of pollen grain, generally we show here the small size cell, that is called generative cell. Generative cell. So this cell divide after pollination at the time of what we can say pollen tube formation, and this generative cell divide into primary and secondary male gamete. After releasing the pollen grain, there is a process called pollination takes place, transfer of pollen grain. So after dehiscence, transfer of pollen grain is called pollination. So in the next video we will learn about how the transfer of this pollen grains takes place. So we have learned about the 2-cell stage, 3-cell stage, 2-cell and 3-cell stage of structure of the pollen grain. Thank you.